What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Batter's Eye. It's been a while since I've recorded some new content, and I'm so happy to have a great guest on with me today. So take a second, introduce yourself. What do you do? Where do you play? And anything else? Any interesting facts or tidbits you want us to know?
I'm Bridger Holmes. I was the closer this last year for Oregon State University. I don't know if I got any super interesting facts, but I'm 21. I'm from North Bend, Oregon. I played junior college ball at Feather River Community College, and yeah,
So, first of all, I'd like to say congratulations on the amazing season and being named an All-American because that's no small feat. Um, People don't know stats because some people watch baseball from whatever clips they see and they like to see the game. They like to see someone throwing hard. So I'm not going to read off all the stats and everything, but you had an amazing year and a lot of success came to you this year. Obviously, you're looking forward. You have the draft combine shirt on. Looking forward to the draft coming this week. But before we talk about that, talk about what maybe changed or what did you find that led you to the success this season? Because obviously in college baseball, the story of the game is offense for the most part.
yeah,
Very few pitchers be as dominant as you were this year, and you see a lot of hitters have, especially recently, have been having record-breaking years just all
yeah,
throughout the country. So, what led you to being as dominant as you were as a closer this year?
yeah. I feel like it's something not a lot of people kind of realize about college baseball compared to the MLB or high school or anything. Like, it's such a hitter-friendly league. Yeah, it's a hitter friendly league in college baseball compared to MLB or anything. So, like putting up good stats as a pitcher is really hard. Um, and especially relative when people like know like the base ERA and all that compared like in any league. So yeah, like I think the average ERA was over 5 this year in college baseball. So yeah. For me personally, being that dominant, I knew I always had the stuff to do it kind of coming into this year. I think the biggest improvement I made, my pitching coach, Rich Dorman, helped me a lot, but kind of just understanding, that I'm, pretty good and just like accepting that and realizing that that's like I could be really good and I could have that confidence when I go out there on the mound. And when I came in, it was kind of more like, wow, I'm at OSU, like this is super cool. I'm playing with Travis Bazzana, playing with all these guys, like
Hmm.
everyone's ad leave, all that, and then kind of realizing, settling down towards the end of fall and being like, dude, like I'm here for a reason. I could make an impact on this team this year. And once I kind of realized that, it allowed my stuff was always good, but it allowed me to be mentally there too, and kind of just put that together. And then going out there the ninth is not very easy, but kind of just every time I went out, I was just confident in my stuff, and no matter who the hitter was, just realizing I can get anybody out. I think that was the biggest difference, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so you talked about it a little bit, just coming into a school, especially just in baseball, as prestigious as Oregon State, but to go from a JUCO to a top, six, they were preseason, you guys are preseason ranked six, to go into, and that doesn't even matter because the rankings are, I'm not even going to talk about that, but to go into a top level D1 school coming from a junior college, also a school from your home state. I mean, what's that like?
Yeah.
Just really like to take that all in, to process that, to go into this year. And then, like you said, it was a mentality thing. So, I mean, talk a little bit about the mentality coming from JUCO ball because a lot of guys don't know what JUCO ball is like. And then to go to a school like Oregon State and dominate, and you said it best. So,
Yeah.
talk about what that was like, just the change in the journey.
Yeah. I mean, I've talked about it before in some other interviews and stuff, but just like when I was in high school, I never saw myself even coming here. I didn't, like I said, I didn't think I was good enough. And I came from a small school, my high school, North Bend. We had, I think when I was there, like 600, 700 kids. So that was, COVID kind of stunted my recruiting, and then I ended up going to Feather River, which was a good JUCO, but obviously nothing compared to OSU. And then living that JUCO life was crazy. The town where Feather River is really small. They got a Subway, a Safeway, and then some home family owned restaurants. That's about it. So it's really, really a big grind. Kind of just going through that. But I think the best thing it did was allow me to I'd say focus on baseball a lot, without any distractions. And I think coming from a small school, the coaching there wasn't necessarily the greatest when it comes to like pitching specifics. So once I got to JUCO, I learned a lot more about pitching from teammates and from coaches, and then obviously making that jump to OSU was a big one. And even when my coach first came up to me, he's like, "Hey, like we're gonna talk to OSU in Oregon," and I was like, "He's like, do you want us to talk to them?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like obviously," but I just didn't ever see that as something that I could do. And then, like I said, like when the previous question, like once I realized that that is something that's doable for me, that's when the biggest flip happened because the stuff was always there at every level. So this is a confidence piece, and I think Dorman and Canham and all of them and my teammates, Kamats and May helped me a lot. Also, kind of just find that confidence, realize who I am, and translating it to the field. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, and so this is the last thing I really want to touch about on the mentality side, just because a lot of people want to watch this for the baseball side of things, but I'm very big into keeping things positive, keeping a good mentality at all times, and I've realized that's helped me a lot in my life. What's it like, as a player to so for those of you who don't know, I mean, JUCO ball is the toughest it gets.
it
Um,
is.
it's a grind. You're living in, yeah, I mean, a lot of people complain about living in dorms in these nice colleges, and when you look at a dorm in a JUCO,
It's
it,
bad.
it's pretty rough. Yeah, they don't get a lot of funding. I mean, these people have these people go there because whether they don't have it or they know that they're an athlete and they want to grind for a better life. And I mean, first of all, that builds great men. Some of the best guys I've worked with come from JUCO ball, and some of the nicest guys I've interacted with throughout this whole journey of me being in the media is JUCO ball guys that have transitioned or made a way for themselves to play D1 baseball, pro baseball, and whatever that is. But what was it like to go and find your confidence? I mean, what were some steps or some goals that you had for yourself that maybe helped you achieve that goal? Because obviously it's hard to understand for those of you who don't play baseball and even those of you who play baseball but aren't closers, because that's the most high leverage outing every time you go out there. It's a close game. A lot of times it's safe situations where one mistake can change the course of the game, the season, whatever that may be.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so you asking like what is it like being closer or like the JUCO part? Or?
I mean, just finding your confidence to get to that point
Yeah,
where like your mentality is, your confidence doesn't waver when you go out in those high pressure outings because it's
yeah,
so hard,
yeah,
and a lot of people don't realize that. And whether that was something that you found at JUCO that you were able to take with you to Oregon State, or a routine that maybe someone helped you with, or goals
yeah,
that you set for yourself and how you did that.
yeah. Well, I'd say at JUCO ball, when I was at JUCO, I was always a starter, so I never even knew what that really was. But I always kind of look at our closers and our late inning guys come in, and I'd be like, "Damn, I feel like that'd be pretty fun, just going in there and throwing hard, you know." And then once I kind of got to my sophomore year and the recruiting started happening, I realized that my profile, being a two pitch guy with two pretty nasty pitches, I was like, dude, this is probably something that's going to happen once I get to that next level at OSU and even in MLB. Um, so it was kind of like the mentality piece, like I mentioned earlier, is once I got to OSU, once I got that confidence, and then, like you said, when you go out there in the ninth, like it's one mistake, and it's a love hate relationship with the fans, um, especially and with yourself. Because I mean, you make one mistake as a starter, it's a homer. You go out there and throw 5 more innings scoreless, is totally fine. You do that as a closer, game over. Like
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing for me. So it's you have to be locked in every pitch, and it's a tough job. But I wasn't the closer right away. My closer ended up getting hurt, which led me to get in
Yeah.
that position. So when that happened, I kind of just was like, okay, like let's do this, and I had the confidence and I went out there, and once I showed the coaches, I think my first save, I struck out the side on 11 pitches. So I showed the coaches that they could trust me, and um, kind of just did that the rest of the year. And I love those situations. I love coming, especially at home or on the road. Where the away fans are screaming, but at home, especially when the home fans are behind you, and you go out there and you throw one the foot off the plate, and they're like, "Boo!" and the ump calls the ball. So that's probably the best part, just having everybody behind you and feeding off that energy and throwing hard and celebrating. Yeah, I love the closer role definitely more than the starter role. A lot of people ask me that, but I always say the closer role because it's just like so fun. to be out
Yeah,
there.
and I mean, obviously, it's a little less taxing on the arm, the body. Not
A
that
little
that
bit.
not that that's. I mean, as a baseball player, you prepare for whatever it is, but you know.
As yeah, as much as that is true, it's also tough because you have to be ready every day. So
Hmm.
that's kind of the hard thing for me. I liked as a starter, kind of obviously you throw more pitches, you're total and more innings, you're right about that, but you always have a routine every week. Like, okay, I'm pitching on Friday, I'm pitching on Saturday, I'm
Yeah,
going to do this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. My bullpen's this day. Whereas a closer, especially in college baseball, midweeks and in the MLB, where it's games every day, it's you got to be ready every day for the most part, and you got to keep your body right, you got to eat right, and all that. So that was kind of a big step for me. But yeah, the less innings for sure, but it's a lot of high stress pitches, so
of
that's
course.
kind of taxing. But yeah, yeah,
So now to talk about, the next step, obviously I mentioned the draft combine. Sure, you performed well at the draft combine. You did very well, and your draft stock has been going
yeah,
up all year long. So
yeah.
obviously the draft is this week. I know, just from previous guys I've spoke to, you can't really say much about it, but what are some things maybe that you're looking forward to, some thoughts you've had going into this draft? And if there's anything else that you'd want us to talk about or say, obviously don't share too much information, but whatever whatever you're comfortable sharing. What are your thoughts about that going forward and just looking forward to the next part of the journey?
Yeah. First off, I'd like to say I only got the shirt on because I just got done lifting. It's a thin shirt, so I didn't come on here and be like, oh, I'm gonna wear my combine
Oh
shirt.
no,
But
I'm not even thinking
no,
about it.
you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. I was just like, the draft for me is a brand new thing, and it's something I never even thought possible. I've been a huge baseball fan my whole life, huge fan of analytics. I grew up a Mariners fan, growing up in Washington and Oregon, so I've always loved baseball. Never, so I'd always be like, the pipe dream, like, oh, I want to play in the MLB. But in my head, I never truly thought of that as a possibility until um, my sophomore year at JUCO. A couple pro scouts started texting me, and I'm like, wow, like this is actually like this is crazy. And then obviously at OSU, like you said, my draft stock just skyrocketed, and kind of just I don't know. It's hard to answer that question because there's not much I know about it besides with conversations with my advisor and stuff that you don't say to the public.
Yeah.
But from a mental standpoint, it's like it's just so surreal. I mean, the draft's in a week, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna be a professional baseball player in a week, and that's just something that I've always dreamed of, and um, comes it's really cool, but it comes with a lot of responsibility, and the minor league grind is coming up, so excited for that, and yeah, it's to summarize that. I don't know. It's a great experience. I'm just trying to live it, and um, have the most fun I can. And whoever drafts me, I'm gonna do the best I can to get to the league as quick as I can and produce. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So now the one thing I want to touch on before we get into our our little fun oh, I'm forgetting. Wow, it's been a while. I'm forgetting what our segment's even called. But before we get into that segment, I want to get into your pitch mix and the grips and maybe some tidbits and
yeah,
tips that you have for people because you have two really nasty pitches. So talk about those and talk about, have you thought of developing maybe a third pitch going into pro ball now and seeing that the competition is going to continue to get better, and what's your thoughts going in on that?
yeah. As far as the third pitch, in my when I talk to scouts and stuff, I say like whatever the team is. Some teams might want to try a cutter, a splitter, or change. That's just up to them. And I've tried changeups a little bit. It's not bad at all, but it's just not when I have two pitchers that are really good, I don't necessarily want to throw one in there that's not great and then
Yeah,
be like get up a hit on it, be like, dude, I could have just thrown like.
of
And on the
course.
other side of that, there's a lot of big league relievers that only have two pitches.
Yeah.
So um for me it's kinda like I see myself as a reliever profile anyway. I was saying like that's true, and I think I could get away with that. But I think a third pitch would help, like you said, and I'd basically just leaving that up to whoever drafts me, whatever they want to try with that. And I think I could definitely implement that in. And I don't have a baseball with me, or else I'd show my grips, but I'll
Actually,
show it in the
I have a ball with me. If you
okay.
want, I could try and work with it.
You might be able to. Okay, so go on the open side of the horseshoe with these two. But this is for the slider. I'll just do slider first. Let me see. Yeah, a little farther though, and like you're pushing down on the seam like that.
So
Let me
like
see it.
the pointer finger on the edge of the seam here,
Other
push
other
down.
side, other
Ah,
side, other side.
so you want
But
like that with the middle finger,
Yeah,
the seam. So for those who
but
can see,
yeah, but more closer to probably the horseshoe. I hold it on the other opposite side of the horseshoe, so if you slid them down, let me see. You might get it. It's kind of hard to explain. No, farther back. Just like
so like
shoot.
here or
It's
farther
over here.
down more, like
Down. Yeah, right there. Yeah, that's it. That's it. And then
okay,
my thumb is totally on the other side, like basically across from it, choked up, which is really unique. No, that's tucked. It's more like on the opposite seam. So show the other side.
so like
Yep.
here,
Yeah, a little higher, kind of pushing on it. Yeah, which is really unique. People always ask me like, "What's your slider grip?" And I show them, and I'm like, I wouldn't recommend throwing it. Like it's super unique. My dad taught it me when he's like, "Throw it like this" when I was 6, and I've never changed it. So I have a high spin rate with a lot of
it
movement
works
on it. So there's no reason to mess with it. So
definitely.
that's just the grip. Yeah, really, I just choke it a lot and just grip it and rip it really. And then the fastball is just like the most standard thumb tuck four seam fastball. Fingers a little wider. Not that wide. Yeah, probably like that. Yeah. And I get a lot of sink out of it due to my arm slot, and I've been throwing a lot harder. So that's the grips. Yeah.
That's awesome. I like that slider. That's super unique. We're gonna watch out for that in Pro Bowl because it's filthy. First of all, I've seen
Yeah.
so disclaimer, I my first ever guest is Brendan Summerhill, and so
Yeah.
I ride with my guy, and so I watch a lot of Arizona baseball.
Yeah.
Not even anything about that last series. I'm not gonna even bring that up. Because
And we won it. We won it.
you won the series. You did win the
Yeah.
series, but he also he I did tell him I was having you on the podcast, and he was gonna say, "Are you gonna bring anything up about the series?" Um,
Yeah.
not even in a bad not in a bad way at all, because I
Yeah.
did mention that I wanted to ask how his at bats are like while you're facing him, but
Yeah. Real. I can tell
but
you right now. I remember them.
okay, so we could do that before I get into that. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do that.
I faced him first time. I think he was the first guy I faced. It was either no, he wasn't. Okay, so I came in. We won the first 2 games by a lot, right?
Yeah,
I'm not trying to talk smack on them, but I think we were pretty clearly the better team. And the third game they had a hot pitcher, kind of shut our offense down a little bit. And I think it was 2-2, and I came in first and second, 1 out. And the first guy bunted it, and I dove for the bunt. He like popped it up, and I dropped it. Well, I didn't drop it. I just dove, didn't get it. So his bases loaded, 1 out, and I believe I threw him a backdoor slider, and he hit it kind of on the barrel. It wasn't bad, but ground ball right to the shortstop for a double play. So got him there, and then the next time to end the inning, so that was good. And then that was the seventh, and I threw a scoreless eighth. I went out there for the ninth, and I went hit batter strikeout, and then I walked the next guy. Then I got pulled. So I was at like 45 or 50 pitches or something really high, highest all year. And our next guy came in, and Summerhill was up, and he had the walk off double. So I was like, my runs, but I wasn't out there. So I don't know. I wanted to face him, but it was the right choice. But yeah, that was my bats against him.
that's first of all love the moment between the two rival schools there, the two top
Yeah,
Pac-12 schools there.
yeah,
But what I was gonna say was I watched a lot of Arizona games, so I watched when you threw against them. So
yeah,
the slider's filthy. I've seen
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I felt bad that day. It was weird. I think like the when you go to down to Arizona from up here, the air is a lot thinner, and especially Tucson's pretty high. And it's like those first couple of days you're there, like the ball doesn't move as much. It's kind of a weird feeling. So that day I just felt pretty weird. Same thing in the Pac-12 tournament, but I like to say it wasn't I didn't have the greatest stuff that day, but yeah, still got it done. Kinda got the loss, but it's all good.
All good. So last for our rapid fire segment, got the name back in my head.
Yeah, good.
So the first thing I really want to talk to you about is playing with a guy like Travis. And though you guys played completely different positions, completely different sides of the ball, the mentality that he carries, I mean, a lot of the coaches talk about it, the players around college talk about it, the players in that lineup talk about it. What's something that you may have learned from him, whether it be through an interaction on the field, off the field? Um, even maybe not even an interaction with him, just something that you've learned from something that he said to media or something that coaches have said about him, but something that you've taken away that you continue to implement with yourself throughout the
Yeah.
next part of your journey?
Yeah, first off, I'd like to say, great baseball mind. I think that's why he's projected one in all the every mock draft. But it's more than just his on-field performance, which is obviously great. But that guy interviews so well. He knows he could. I think he could be a D1 pitching coach. I mean, he knows everything about. He'll watch a pitch and be like, "Oh, that move 12 inches this way, 14 inches this way," and it'll be right. So he knows so much about that. That's probably why I had such a good eye. As far as me learning from him, like you said, if you asked any of the hitters on our team, they could probably tell you about 8 different things he's taught them. I mean,
Of course.
he'll work with any guy and be like, "Yeah, you need to do this with your swing." And there's a story about him, Malcolm Moore from Stanford. I don't know if you know that as a
Mhm.
catcher. Yeah, we
Yeah,
were playing them up here, and he was kind of slumping a little bit. And Trav told him something about his swing or some approach thing. And then the next series they played Oregon, he hit 3 homers in a game, and Trav's like, "That was me. I told him that." So that was pretty funny. But as far as me goes as a pitcher, I do. I don't know if he made this up. He definitely didn't. But he likes to preach being process based rather than results based. So kind of just, for example, I had a rough. The worst stretch of my season was against Nevada and Cal. I get a walk off homer in back to back games, and those were my first earned runs of the year. And I'm just like, of course, you're just gonna be like, wow, like, what am I doing? Like all this. And then you look at the analytics on it, and my velo was the highest it's been all year, and my ball was moving a lot. And it's just like sometimes it's just gonna happen. I K2 guys, then I throw one bad pitch, guy hits it out. It's like, okay. I mean, bounce back next week, got some saves against Oregon, and I think that's like the biggest thing that I kind of learned from him is just like no matter what happens in the game of baseball, it's such a failure based game. You have to come back and perform, or else you're not going to make it. So, kind of just realizing that what goes on in your head and how you're doing things is what matters, rather than sometimes the results. Like perfect example, of this would be like you line out right at the left fielder. I mean, are you going to be mad about that, or are you going to be like, "Wow, I hit the ball hard. That's a good AB," and then go up there next time and get a hit? So, yeah, I'd say that. There's a bunch of other things I could probably say, but yeah, he's just a great guy in the clubhouse, great guy, to great teammate and all that. So yeah,
yeah. I mean, obviously, I mean, I don't even think a lot of people really know that I ever had an interview with him. I never really talked about it, but that was, I mean, he sat down with me after we stopped filming. We spoke for about like 30 minutes. That's the kind of guy he is, and a lot of
yeah,
people don't really know that. I mean, we spoke about it for at least 30 minutes off camera, just talking after we filmed. It was awesome. And
yeah,
unfortunately, the audio just completely was messed up. I wish I could have
I know.
posted that.
Yeah,
It was a great interview. I definitely still have it somewhere on my computer.
yeah,
might have to just post the old file. I mean, it's over a year and a half old, but just so people understand that the
yeah,
character that he is, the guy that he is.
yeah.
And then so next we're gonna end it off with a more funny segment on Rapid Fire. I see the stash. Let's talk about the best facial hair in the MLB and in college baseball right now. Give me, oh, you could give me a mix, whether it's MLB, college. Give me your top five, not including yourself, and then where would you rank yourself on that list?
Dude, I don't even know if I have a top five. I know that guy from the dude from Tennessee, the lefty. I know his name.
Kirby
You know,
Con.
Kirby Connell. Yeah, he's got a great stash. That's great. I wouldn't. I honestly like. I think my stash is okay, but I don't know why he's got so much hype. I think it's just because I'm a closer and it kind of fits it. But like, it's just an average stash. I feel like, but
I like it.
yeah. I mean, everyone likes it, so I wasn't even gonna wear it all year. Sometimes I wear a goatee. I just mix it up, and like my first couple outings, I had the stash, and I saw people talking about it on Twitter. I was like, I guess I gotta keep it all year, and I didn't give up any runs, so I was like, okay, perfect. That's kind of how that went down. But top five MLB, I don't really know. Like honestly,
It doesn't have to be five. I mean, some
yeah,
of the ones you like.
yeah, yeah. No, I know. I'm just trying to think. I feel like there's not too many guys right now with like crazy facial hair in the MLB. I know Matt Carpenter had a good stash when he was playing for the Yankees. I really like that.
The
Um,
Skeen stash. Everyone
Sneeze is iconic. Yeah, of
throw some.
course.
Everyone's gonna talk about it. I mean, he's the most
Yeah,
talked about thing in baseball
yeah.
right now. Let's give him
But
some.
Yeah, but once again, I think his stash is just basic. It's just he's Paul Skeens, so people are gonna say like, "Oh, and the stash," you know.
Of
So it's just
course.
like if you're good and you have a stash, people are gonna talk about it. I feel like, but I think Kirby Cannell probably has the best one I've seen in recent years. That thing's great. Some of the old beards, I think it was Sean Doolittle for the A's back in the day.
There's a good one.
Great long beard.
There's a good one.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you agree with that? I really don't think there's that many guys right now in the MLB that have crazy.
I think it's stepped down a little bit.
Yeah,
I agree. I like
yeah,
the I like the Matt Carpenter reference, big Yankees
yeah,
fan coming from New York, so
yeah,
it's close to home there. Um,
yeah.
Especially as a Yankee fan, you don't see many guys with great facial hair for
Oh
those
yeah,
with the rules
yeah.
we have. I'm trying to think of like some other really good ones. There aren't as many. It's toned down. It's dialed back a little bit
A
recently.
lot of shit guys. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
dialed back a little bit recently.
Uh
But
huh. Of
regardless, I just want to say thank you again for coming on. It was a great episode. It was
course.
great to talk to you. Best of luck in the draft this coming week.
Thank
And
you.
I can't wait to see what's next for you in pro ball. We'll keep in touch. Hopefully have you back on again and let's see what happens in MLB. It's going to be a great
Thank,
journey.
thanks for having me, dude.
Of
Appreciate it.
course, anytime, and I appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to say? Any last message you want to leave for anybody watching?
Go Beefs.
There we go.
Oh my God.